This video will be helpful for learning computer networks. It will help to the students of BCA. This video contains topics like definition of computer network, what is data communication, what is protocol, and different modes of transmission. Let us start. First of all, what is computer network? So computer network is group of computers or peripherals uses common communication protocols and connected with the purpose of sharing of resources. Proper definition of computer network is like this. A network is a collection of computers, servers, mainframes, network devices, peripherals, or other devices connected to one another to allow the sharing of data. An excellent example, as all of us know, of computer network is the internet, which connects millions of people all over the world. Next is what is data communication. So data communication refers to the exchange of data between source and a receiver. In computer network, data communication refers to the transmission of digital data between two or more computers or between computer networks. Protocol. A network protocol is an established set of rules that determines how data is transmitted between different devices in the same network. In short, we can say that network protocol is a set of rules that must be followed by source and receiver before transmitting the data. It allows connected devices to communicate with each other regardless of any differences in their internal processes and structure or design. Protocol defines following. First, syntax. It indicates what is to be communicated. So, when source wants to transmit data to the receiver, protocol helps the sender to define syntax. That means what sender wants to communicate to the receiver. Second is semantics. It indicates how it is to be communicated. That means it helps sender to define that how particular data will be transmitted to the receiver. Third, timing. It indicates when it should be communicated. So during the data transmission, timing also plays an important role. So timing defined by the protocol will help the sender to indicate the receiver that when the communication will take place and within how much time. Next topic is modes of transmission. So basically there are two types, serial transmission and parallel transmission. First of all, serial transmission. From the diagram, it can be easily understood that one computer transmits data to the another computer in one after the another bits. That is serial transmission. Let us read the proper definition of serial transmission. In serial transmission, data is sent bit by bit from one computer to another in bidirection in single unit of time. So basically, to remember, serial transmission sent data as a bit by bit from source to receiver. For transmitting data to a longer distance, serial data cables are used. So for the longer distance transmission, serial data cables are very much useful. Next is parallel transmission. As you can see in the diagram, In parallel transmission, source sends all the bits of character together using multiple lines to the receiver. Receiver may be anything, any computer, or any other device connected in the network. In parallel transmission, various bits of data are transmitted together simultaneously with a single unit of time. It is a fast way to transmit at as it uses many input or output lines for transmitting the data. From these two diagrams, we can easily understand that parallel transmission is fast because it transmits all the bits together parallelly. Advantages of serial and parallel transmission. Serial transmission, it is cost effective, it is appropriate for long distance communication, and it is more reliable. Parallel transmission advantages, transmits data at higher speed because multiple input lines are used here. It is suitable for short distance communication because multiple lines are used. Set of bits are transferred parallelly, or we can say simultaneously. Disadvantages of serial transmission and parallel transmission. First of all, serial transmission. Data transmission rate is low because here one after the another, in this manner bits are transferred from source to receiver. Throughput relies on the bit rate. So ultimately its performance is low. Parallel transmission, it is costly transmission system because already we have discussed that it contains multiple lines for the data transmission because it transmits all the bits together. So it is costly. The thickness of the wire has to be increased to diminish signal degradation, and actual thickness of the wires which carry the data from source to destination must be thick as compared to serial transmission. There are multiple communication channels required. That is already we have discussed. Synchronous and asynchronous transmission. First of all, let us continue with asynchronous transmission. In asynchronous transmission, there is no importance of timing. In asynchronous transmission, data moves as one byte or one character at a time. Here in asynchronous transmission, data transmitted from source to receiver one byte or one character at a time. NRZL is the signaling method useful for the asynchronous transmission, in which negative voltage denotes binary 1 and positive voltage denotes binary 0. The size of a character transmitted is 8 bits with a parity bit added, both at the beginning and at the end also, making it a total of 10 bits. That means if one byte is transmitted from source to receiver, it contains 8 bits. But asynchronous adds one extra bit at the beginning and at the end known as parity bit. The extra bit added at the beginning is known as start bit and added at the end is known as stop bit. So actually it makes the data of 10 bits. In this slide, same thing is written. Parity bit added in the beginning known as start bit. Parity bit added at the end is known as stop bit. It is straightforward, quick and cost-effective method for the data transmission. Each character is headed by a beginning bit and concluded with one or more end bits. Already discussed. There may be gaps or spaces in between characters. That means sometimes it happens that during the transmission, source does not have anything to transfer. At that time, asynchronous transmission may transfer spaces, empty line. that is known as gaps or spaces. Here is the diagram which contains explanation of parity bit, stop bit and start bit during the transmission. Next is synchronous transmission. The term synchronous is used to describe a continuous and consistent time transfer of data blocks. Synchronous data transmission is a method in which a continuous stream of data signals is accompanied by timing signals generated by an electronic clock to ensure that the transmitter and the receiver are synchronized with one another. That means in synchronous transmission, including the data, it also contains timing signals. So here we can say that in synchronous transmission, timing is important. The data is sent in blocks called frames or packets spaced by fixed time intervals. As already we have discussed, here data is sent with fixed time intervals. In synchronous transmission, data contains SYN character. SYN character is used to indicate transfer of blocks. Synchronous transmission modes are used when large amount of data must be transferred very quickly. So here we can understand that in synchronous transmission, data blocks are transferred from source to receiver. So data can be transferred very quickly. And it is also useful for the transmission of large amount of data. Before the transmission, first of all, source will send SYN character to the receiver. When receiver will receive the SYN character, it initiate the connection first and then transmission begins. The same thing is written here in third point. When receiver receives SYN character, then connection is established and data transmission begins. Transmission in synchronous transmission is faster because it transmits blocks of data together. Error may occur in transmission if block may get out of synchronization. That means if particular block is not transmitted within fixed time interval, there are chances of errors in synchronous transmission. Examples of synchronous transmissions: chat rooms, video conferencing, telephonic conversations, face-to-face interactions, transfer of a large text file. Next topic is transmission mode. There are three types of transmission modes as you can see in the diagram: simple or simplex mode, half duplex mode, and full duplex mode. Let us discuss what is simplex. So in simplex mode, only one side can transmit. That means in simplex mode, the communication is unidirectional, as on a one-way street. Only one of the two devices on a link can transmit the data and the other can only receive. As we have discussed, from two devices, only one device can transmit data here and other can only receive the data. The simplex mode can use the entire capacity of the channel to send data in one direction. So here from two devices, only one device can transmit the data so that the device who is transmitting the data can use entire capacity of the channel. This is the diagram of simplex. That means transmission is possible only in one direction. Examples: TV, radio, and keyboard to monitor. Half duplex. In half duplex, both the devices can transmit the data, but only one at a time. So let us discuss in detail. In half duplex mode, both devices can transmit and receive, but not at the same time. When one device is sending, the other can only receive and vice versa. The half duplex mode is used in cases where there is no need for communication in both directions at the same time. The entire capacity of the channel can be utilized for each direction. That means here both the devices can transmit the data and receive the data, but not at the same time. So at particular time period, only one device can utilize maximum channel capacity for the transmission. Example of half duplex: walkie-talkie, in which message is sent one at a time and messages are sent in both the directions one after the another. This is the diagram of device A and device B. Okay. In first diagram, device A is sending, and in second diagram, device B is sending and A is receiving. Full duplex. In full duplex, both the devices can transmit the data and at the same time. Same thing is explained here. In full duplex mode, both devices can transmit and receive simultaneously. In full duplex mode, signals going in one direction share the capacity of the link with signals going in another direction. This sharing can occur in two ways. So in simplex and in full duplex, we have discussed that particular device who is transmitting the data can utilize maximum channel capacity. Here the case is little bit different. Here two devices are transmitting the data together, so the capacity is divided between two devices. But that division can be done in two different ways. First one, either the link must contain two physically separate transmission paths, one for sending and other for receiving. Okay, so it can be done through two separate paths. Or the capacity is divided between signals traveling in both directions. So here path will remain single between two devices, but the capacity of the channel is divided between sender and receiver. Example, telephone network in which there is a communication between two persons by a telephone line through which both can talk and listen at the same time. Here is the example diagram. Both the devices sending and receiving data at the same time. I hope this video will be useful for learning few topics for computer networks. Thank you.